Hi, Mark here, Thursday, October the 16th. It is 9:38 a.m. Eastern, 1:38 p.m. GMT. US session well underway. Let's have a look how the US dollar is performing. Red candlestick. US dollar's been sold off today. And on the dailies, we're in a downtrend. EMA is crossed to the downside. I've got resistance at 98.46. I've got support at 98.13. Looks like US dollar did try fight its way back after support was established, but for now sitting pretty flat. You can see that in this tight range, neither buyers nor sellers able to really make a move out of this sideways movement for now. Buyers will be looking up at the 98.46, but like we saw on the daily overall, the trend is down. Sellers have been in control, and sellers will be looking down at this 98.13 support level. Let's have a look how the majors are performing, starting with the Euro US. Like the US dollar index on the daily that's showing a downtrend, weak US dollar. Here we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing a weak US dollar against a strong euro. The EMA is crossed to the upside. I've got support today at 116.43. I've got resistance at 116.73. A narrow 30 pip range. Buyers did take it up. You can see buyers of euro to that resistance level. Bit of a wick right now, meaning US buyers stepped in, but sitting sideways, just similar to the sideways action we saw on the index. Neither side really making much of an impression as yet. Let's have a look at the pound. The similarity I see here between the euro, the pound, both in uptrends. That's buying pound against the US dollar weakness over the past 2 days. Today, I've got support at 130.40 and I've got resistance at 134.54, roughly a 50 pip range that we're working with, slightly wider than the euro. Also a wick at the top, meaning US dollar buyers did step in that little bit, sitting pretty flat, but stronger than the euro is at this point. Buyers will be looking up at this 134.50. In this hour, you can see the red candlestick came all the way down here to the 134.20, but pound buyers, sellers of US have stepped in. That's why we've got this wick. And for now, back to that daily, and you can see we're seeing weak US dollar to start the US session. Let's have a look at the US yen. Like the euro, like the pound, the daily is showing weak US dollar. There's the EMAs pointing to the downside. I've got support at 150.52. I've got resistance at 151.38. 80 to 90 pip range. And now almost a doji candlestick, kind of back where it started. We've had buyers, we've had sellers creating this range for now, but now pretty much back in the middle. All of the majors looking pretty flat for now. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see that selling US dollar, buying yen, a continuation of the US dollar strength early in the European session. Looks to be giving up those gains, the US, and looks like yen strength taking over, about to cross over on the EMAs. Sellers of US, buyers of yen will be looking down at the 150.52. And then the last of the four majors we're going to look at, the US dollar Canadian. Let's start off on the daily. Different picture to the other three majors. The other three majors on the daily all showed EMAs crossed, showing US dollar weakness, which is a downtrend on the euro, a downtrend on the pound, and uptrend on the yen, all signifying US dollar weakness. Here, EMA's crossed to the upside on the daily, showing US dollar strength. So a bit of an outlier and different to the others. For now, not much happening at all, sitting in a tight range and has been for the past 3 days. I've got support at 140.21. I've got resistance at 140.56. Roughly a 30 pip range. Doji candlestick, doji-like, open and close at the same price, and that's alongside yesterday's doji-like candle as well. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see strong US dollar to start in this past hour. Sellers have stepped in and brought it down here to sit at that 140.58 level. But if US dollar strength can continue, buyers will be looking up here above the 140.56. If there's a turnaround from US dollar strength against the Canadian to US dollar weakness and Canadian buyers step in, they'll be looking down at the 140.21 level, perhaps even if that can continue to the $1.40 level. So we do have resistance support levels to work with. We'll see whether today is going to be a continuation of dollar weakness, certainly on the first three majors, or if the US dollar can fight back. In the Canadian, we've had US dollar strength and an uptrend on the daily. We'll see whether that can be maintained or if sellers do step in. Good trading, keep that discipline, and I will see you in the day session.